This is the weekend edition. Welcome to Racing to Win. We're focusing at Sha Tin on Sunday, including Group 2 racing coming up, and there's some big names amongst them.
California's Bengals in front. He's in no danger, and he wins the feature as expected. Beauty Eternal taking over now. He's hit the front and neck over Circuit Stella, and Beauty Eternal wins the Lion Rock Trophy. Money Catcher a neck. Beauty Joy won't go away, but Money Catcher's got him, and the Sasa Ladies purse as well. Straight Aaron in front. He's holding on, and he wins. Russian Emperor closing hard, a grandstand finish, and Russian Emperor goes back-to-back in the Champions and Chater Cup.
There you have it, a little teaser for the Group 2 feature coming up on Sunday. Teams here, Paul Lally, Tom Wood, and Tom, it's a good support program outside of the Group 2 also.
Yeah, it certainly is, Mark. Hello to you and to everyone. It's clearly the best meeting of the season we've had so far. We've got full fields, 10 races, so weather looks like it should be good for the weekend as well, and plenty of the big guns back out ready to fire. An interesting race it is at handicap conditions.
It is indeed. Paul Lally with us. Are there jackpots?
There are. There's two jackpots to speak of. The first being the Triple Trio, 7.4 million going into the Triple Trio, so that should get over the 13 million mark. And 800,000 going into the first double trio, so we can make some money early. That should get up over 3 million.
And from Paul and his jackpots, over to Nick now with some more information on the Sha Tin Trophy.
So to the Sha Tin Trophy, first Group 2 race of the new season here in Hong Kong. First run back in 1997. It was upgraded to international Group 2 status in 2016, and there is a very rich history of this race, producing the winner of the mile on HKIR Day in December. 5 horses have managed to do that. One horse has done it twice, that is Beauty Generation, and this year we'll see another horse carrying those colours in the shape of Beauty Eternal. He will be partnered by the most successful jockey in the race. Zach Purton has won this race on 4 occasions, so he certainly knows what it takes to win. And Beauty Eternal is a 5-year-old, the most successful age group in this race since 2011. He won't have it all his own way, however. We've got last year's winner in the race in the shape of California Spangle, who was mightily impressive when winning this 12 months ago, and also then following up and doing the double in December. Not forgetting, of course, the California name, because California Memory won this race back in 2011. So those connections will certainly be hoping to win another. We mustn't forget what certainly isn't a supporting cast. Russian Emperor himself is a 3-time Group 1 winner here in Hong Kong. He's also a winner at that level in Qatar last season also. And not forgetting some of those further down, the likes of Circuit Stella, who's wonderfully consistent, might well have a part to play, and so too Money Catcher, trained by former champion Frankie Law. He seems to be able to turn up on the big day and usually run his race. There is, however, one horse right down at the bottom by the name of Tourbillon Diamond. He's got previous with this. He's been placed twice in the last 2 years, third a couple of years ago. He was second last season, and he has got some form at the top level, and he will be a first group race runner for new trainer Mark Newnham.
He will indeed, and Mark will head to Sha Tin on Sunday with a win next to his name. Happy Hero victorious for the stable at Happy Valley on Wednesday night, and Nick spoke to Mark for further in-depth analysis from the stable.
Mark, let's chat about your runner in the group race. First group race runner for you here in Hong Kong, Tourbillon Diamond. How have you found the horse since you've inherited him?
Yeah, look, he arrived in really good condition. I was pleasantly surprised, you know, how sound and well he was. So, look, I think with him it's just really about a change of environment and hopefully just changing his mindset. He started last season in really good form, but that tapered off in his last half a dozen runs. So we just need to try and get him back to his previous form, and he'll be competitive.
Yeah, 12 months ago, he was running off a 17-pound higher mark in this race and running well. He's actually got previous with the race, even that he's placed a couple of times in it. So he certainly knows the race well.
Yeah, I think he's got about an 18-pound swing in the weights there on California Spangle. But look, on his last few runs, he'll need every bit of that. But look, I can't fault him since he's joined me. I've ridden him quite a bit of work, and he feels well, and he feels as if his head's still in the game. I was happy with his last trial. Naturally, he'll improve into his second run, but still we need to see a forward showing from him.
you've tweaked the headgear with him, and he has performed well enough in a trial recently. Just talk me through that decision with him.
Yeah, look, he's a horse that he plays with his tongue constantly, and he always had his mouth open and just seemed to be, it would just be more of a nervous habit with him. So I went to a crossover noseband with him, and it just seems to have, it helped eliminate that. So he's not using as much nervous energy, I found now. So if it makes a small amount of difference, well, it could be, it could be telling.
Let's chat about the recent success, obviously. You didn't necessarily look a relieved man, but you looked a very pleased man on Wednesday night. Happy Hero was your first winner in Hong Kong. Many congratulations there. And I guess like anything, Mark, great to get that first one.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think for me, I was really excited. It wasn't, it wasn't any great relief. It was going to come sooner or later. But it was nice to get a horse that was, previous form hadn't suggested that there was much in the tank. But look, he, for whatever reason, he's clicked down at our stable. And, but I was really pleased for my staff. They've all been working really hard and anxious to get that first win on the board. And you could see the vibe in the stable even the next morning. Everyone was up and about, and it meant a lot to them, and it meant a lot to me. I mean, I've wanted to come to Hong Kong to train for quite a long time, and I find Happy Valley, it's an exciting venue, and it certainly was every bit of that on Wednesday night.
Looking ahead, what are we hoping for now? I had a look through your stable, your list of horses in the stable. There are any number, Mark, of horses that we haven't seen just yet, and probably unlikely to see for a little while. Some exciting youngsters in the stable?
Yeah, look. When you go through and analyse what we've got, I'd say by the end of November we're going to have 30 horses that have never raced in Hong Kong, and some of those have never raced ever. So we'll have a really good mix of new horses, but that'll probably mean that it'll be a little bit of a slow burn up until Christmas time, and then I'm expecting a really good second half of the season, and then a really good build into next season. New horses obviously take a little bit of time to acclimatise, some quicker than others, but it's nice to have a good group of horses coming through.
Without giving the game away, is there one that you might be looking forward to, or you're not at liberty to tell us just yet?
Oh no, look, I've got a horse there that I targeted called Burling. He hasn't been renamed here yet. He's only won 2 country races in New South Wales from his 2 starts, but he's a big raw horse and looked to be a lot of upside with him. He won as a 2-year-old, and then he beat older horses at his next start at probably 2 unsuitable distances. So I think he's a horse that's going to have a lot of upside, just turned 3. If we can get a win or 2 with him towards the end of this season, I think it'll hold him in good stead for next year.
We'll jot that name down and see if it does stay the same or change. Burling was that horse that Mark Newnham was referring to, Tom, but Happy Hero is a horse. What was a quiet Class 5 is a horse he's going to remember for a long, long time.
He will, and so look, he hacked up with a bit of authority in the end over the final stages of that race on a Wednesday night. Mark has got a total of 45 for horses in his stable at the moment. He's got about 11 of them, Paul, that are rated 52, who we haven't seen yet. There's about 8 others there on the list that haven't been named, so I'd say Burling's amongst those.
Yeah, must be one amongst those. He's got a few that haven't raced high in the ratings. He's got one at 64, was called Pop Rock, which raced over in Australia before I got here, and he didn't look too bad either. Again, he won at Moe, so it's the same sort of thing, but that was country Victoria.
From a trainer's point of view, a new trainer's point of view, Paul, how important was it to get that win for Mark?
It's all about momentum in Hong Kong, isn't it? So, look, as he said, it was always going to come, but now it's come quite earlier. He's only had 14 runners so far. So having those 14 runners, having your first winner, it just sort of stems from there. So I think we'll see steady flow of winners from there. But as he said, it might be a bit of a slow burn with these new horses. So we'll see what happens towards Christmas. I think probably Christmas, January, you'll probably start to see a few come out.
He's got about 5 or 6 horses down in Class 5, and sometimes it's not an easy job to try and turn a few of those horses round, but change of scenery, they've had a bit of a freshen up, and we saw Happy Hero go well at the weekend.
We did indeed, and we haven't spoken about Tourbillon Diamond because he appears in part 2 when we preview the Sha Tin Trophy. Now, usually after the first break, It's the last run reminder, but by popular demand, Paul, it's been brought forward and you've found a very talented horse this week.
Yeah, look, at Joyful Hunter, it was just very unlucky at his last start. We can see that here. He was slightly slow away, but the horse, this was his first start at Sha Tin. He'd gone to the races before at Happy Valley and won most impressively both times. So the big sort of question was, could he come here and do it at Sha Tin? Now, you can see Lucky Encounter wins the race in the red cap just off the rail, gets the perfect run through. But Joyful Hunter didn't actually get much luck here at all. And you can see it was when he just sort of losing momentum a little bit at a vital time. Once he did get through that gap, though, I thought he'd finished off the race really strongly. So he's one just to keep in your black book. He's racing, of course, on the weekend, and I think he'll run very well.
All right, he is race number 9, horse number 6. His name is Joyful Hunter. That has been the first part of Racing to Win. We're going to head to a break right now and back to have a close look at the Sha Tin Trophy right after this. Yes, Gentleman's Bow Tie Race Day coming up at Sha Tin. Got your bow tie ready?
Got my bow tie. You, Paul?
Yeah, got a couple actually. I'm not so sure which to do, a black number or a red number. We'll decide on the day.
Or fashionista over here.
Yeah, how are we going to match it in with the best bet colour or something?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so that's the mystery prize coming up on, say, Paul's bow tie. The Sha Tin Trophy is the feature race, and looking at the meeting on Sunday, we're on the turf for all 10, A+3 course, and it's meeting number 10 for the season. Normal times, 1 o'clock through until 10 minutes to 6. The feature race 7 at 5 minutes past 4, Group 2 over the 1,600 metres. Right now, race number 7 has California Spangle. He has to carry 135 pounds first up. He does race well first up. Russian Emperor, he's resuming. He gets better as the season goes on and the races get further. Beauty Eternal is 2 for 2 course and distance. Money Catcher has placed first up. Beauty Joy comes into Group 2 company. It also means he carries just 122 pounds. Senor Toba's had 2 trials. Straight Aaron second up, goes up in trip from the 14 to the 1,600 metres. Circuit Stella races well course and distance. Encountered last time. There was nothing in the vet's report about him. Possibly too short and the track a little too good for his liking. They put down to that defeat in Tourbillon Diamond. As we heard before the break, he's going to make his debut for the Mark Newnham stable. Tom, as we see the speed map and the Spangle from barrier number 10 will get across and lead.
Yeah, Hugh Bowman here riding the California Spangle first time race day. But look, I think there's some alternate pressure. Maybe not necessarily Paul from his stablemate Circuit Stella, but I think there's every chance that Money Catcher might go and attack California Spangle here. And we know California Spangle, if he does cop some pressure, doesn't handle it overly well.
Yeah, there is that option for them to go forward there as well. Also, you've got a few of the stayers in here, so like Straight Aaron, your Senor Tobas, your Russian Emperors, they're not going to be in the early fight. So I think every horse is going to be able to get into a reasonable position. Encountered, like he's drawn better in barrier 4. He was a little bit wide, and I think they'll just be a little bit quieter with him.
Right. He has trialled and counted. We'll have a look at that trial shortly. Now, some further breakdown of this race, Tom, before we go into runner by runner. And the past winners, there's some good horses on that list.
There certainly is. California Spangle, of course, Panfield won it a couple of years ago for Tony Millard. Golden 60 Rise High was a shame we never got to see the best of Rise High. Paul and Beauty Generation a couple of years prior to that.
Yeah, good horses win this race. And in next preview, when we heard about that earlier in the show, a lot of these horses go on and perform very well on International Day.
All right, with California Spangle looking for back-to-back wins. Now, this is a very interesting stat, Tom. It's going to mean that horses with the 124 to 129, which is Russian Emperor, can't win the race.
Yeah, they haven't won it traditionally down through the years. It's been the horses towards the bottom end of the handicap, or the horses carrying over 130 pounds up at the top end. So can be for those progressive horses coming through, Paul, that have picked off maybe a Group 3 race in the past, the likes of Beauty Eternal, or those genuine Group 1 horses at the top.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? And so, you know, the class comes through with these top horses, or the weights really favour these younger horses, as you'd expect. So Beauty Eternal is likely to be the favourite. He's, 123. So on those stats, he can win.
Let's break it down. We're going to start, though, with the Celebration Cup. This was the first group race of the season. Circuit Stella's racing well. Encountered Paul. There he is out there wide. Beauty Joy fourth. He carried a lot of weight in this race. And Straight Aaron is back at the tail end. A race, of course, dictated by a great front-running ride with Alexi Bedell on Healthy Happy.
Yeah, look, none of these back horses, I know even though it was a small field, really got into it because Alexi just sprinted off the front and won really nicely. So, look, Straight Aaron was a really good run from him, as it turns out. It counted, look, he was 3 wide all the way up to 1,600 metres. I think you're going to see a different horse second up with him. He dropped out. There was nothing wrong with him. That was with him. But, yeah, none of these back ones could get in.
No, I know he's a horse that hasn't won for a while, Mark, Beauty Joy, 483 days, but he's got a 13-pound swing in the weights here, and I think he comes right into this. He's carrying 122. He's got a good record course and distance, and here he is second up. He's also got a pretty good, handsome record second up.
He does indeed, and gets a big weight turnaround on her feet from California Spangle last season also, which Tom does lead us in now to California Spangle. He has had 2 trials. This is the first of them, so we'll talk about this one first. He was beaten by Ka Ying Cheer, seemed to go to the line under a good hold, and of course Ka Ying Cheer's come out and won a Class 4 race sets.
Yeah, he has been able to. So he's first up here for 168 days, has had the 2 trials, as you mentioned, Mark. This is the first of them that we're looking at here. He seems to be going along okay in this trial, but I think I've definitely seen him trial better, Paul. Yeah,
definitely. Look, when I had a look back on his trials on the all-weather before, so I just wanted to know if it was an all-weather thing. But he's won all his other trials last season on the all-weather very easily, and just worries me a little bit in that one.
This one must have worried you. He was pushed out really hard this day. That's Dream Winner Good Buddy to his inside and outside, but you can see here, even as far out Paul as just under the 300 metre mark, Hughes at work on him.
He is. So, yeah, look, he's definitely not trialling as well as he was last season. There's no question about that. You can see that for yourself. Now, whether that equates to race day, he just, you know, he's such a professional horse. The thing that worries me a little bit is having to give away a lot of weight to these young progressive horses because the handicap conditions don't suit him.
Yeah, so he's got 135, and below him you've got Russian Emperor on 127, Beauty Eternal even further down on 123 pounds. I didn't like that trial there at all, and I think he's going to cop some pressure in this race, which will, I think, see him undone. OK, concerns around California Spangle, the weight and the trial. Now, Russian Emperor, Tom, here he is running 7th down the straight. This is a typical Russian Emperor kick-off trial, isn't it? We've seen it time and time again and think, oh, he hasn't trialled well, but just far too short, and he gets distance and race day and becomes a Group 1 winner. Yeah, and a bit of rain around as well would help him. He likes to get his toe into the ground, but I don't think they've got too many sort of high expectations around his sort of run this weekend, Russian Emperor. Interesting to hear from trainer Douglas White saying that he thinks he's probably going better at the start of this season than he has gone in the last couple of seasons. So this is just a bit of maintenance this weekend for him. Yeah, I think so. It's a stepping stone, isn't it? Look, he's a 6-year-old now, so this will be he should have a good season this season, I've got no doubt. But I see this as a stepping stone to some of the bigger sort of prizes later towards the end of December. They're talking about go back to Qatar again with them too. Absolutely. So a wait and see on Sunday with Russian Emperor. Can't imagine, Paul, it will be a wait and see with this horse. It's Beauty Eternal up to start number 11. He's won 7 from 10. Good draw. 2 starts, course and distance for 2 wins, 123 pounds. And this is the second of his trials. Look, I think he'll be odds on the day, this horse, and I think he can win it. Look, he's got a lot of things in his favour. He's drawn nicely in barrier number 3 as well. So, look, he can just sort of tuck in behind if he wants to, behind the pace. We know he's got a little bit of early gate speed, or he can be 3. The thing was, when I'd seen the speed map, he could map 3 back if Circuit Seller crossed him and Moneycatcher came forward. But we've seen him being beaten by 3 back on the inside in the past. So I think Zach's quite an aggressive rider out of the gates. That's why I think he'll try and get him behind the leader. And he was pretty good last time out when winning the form out of that race has been good because Healthy Happy's come out and won one of our opening group races of the season. And he was actually quite keen last time out, Beauty Eternal. But I think he looks cherry ripe for this.
That is a big tick for the likely favourite in the race, Beauty Eternal. So we're playing for the minors by the sounds of this, boys. What about Money Catcher, Tom? Here he is up at Chung Fa. He's had 2 trials up there. Written up a little bit in this one. It's against Lucky Encounter, who we also see on this program, and he's drawn wide.
Yeah, he is. He's drawn here. It's barrier 6 is Money Catcher. And look, he raced up outside the leader and just got sort of tired over the last 200 metres in the Champions and Chater over the 2,400 metres. I think he could be the one to maybe put a little bit of pressure on in this race. He's a horse that does like to get on with it. Alexi Bedell and Frankie Law, and yeah, he's trialled okay, but obviously looking for further. Yeah,
look, he's never won over the 1,600. He's had 3 goes. He's been placed all 3 times, but yeah, I wasn't totally taken with that trial, but it's a little bit hard to see up at Chung Fa because a lot of them are just sort of jump outs.
They are indeed. His first trial, Money Catcher, he was victorious over Healthy Happy in that, and he did seem to trial better, won it by a short head, but that was before that one you just saw. Encountered, Paul, you've always been a fan. You mentioned his first up run, that nothing was found in the steward's report. And perhaps it was the firmness of the track. He's been back to the trials. There he is, peeling wide. He did get a long way back in this and ran on strongly, and that is Lucky Swayness, the leader.
Yeah, so I thought it was a very good trial. The thing with him is second up now, so he's got a bit of race fitness under his belt, which I think will help him. Coming back up to the mile will help a lot too, 1,400. I just didn't think that race was run to suit him. He was 3 wide and they were walking. Look, I didn't like the run at all, but I think he can come on from it.
And I think ultimately last time out, 1,400 was probably too short for him. He's trialled up well there. He is 4 pounds out of the handicap in this race as well as Encountered. But that trial behind Lucky Swayness did look good.
Of course, we heard from Mark Newnham before the break about Happy Hero and some of the newcomers to the stable. Well, this is one of them, Tom. Tourbillon Diamond is his name. Having his 30th start in Hong Kong, so he's racking up the starts now. Draws barrier number 1, placed 2 from 3 first up in the past, and this is his 1,600 metre trial around Sha Tin.
Yeah, he's pretty much almost moved into the veteran sort of stage of his career here. He hasn't won for a long time. It's been well over 12 months. Settled 4th in this trial. I thought ran on quite nicely when asked, but sort of question has to be asked, has he lost the will to win on race day, and what's he beating here in this trial over a mile? I'm not sure there's too many good yardsticks there.
No, I tend to agree. Look, he's a couple of favourite points for him. He comes in with a light weight. He is slightly out of the handicap as well, and he did run second in this race last year. So, look, he's a 7-year-old now. I think this is a stronger renewal from last year. I know good horses in it, so look, I didn't quite put him in it.
Senor Toba, one we haven't talked about. Wait. Later in the season, further races?
Yeah, I think this again, he's same as Russian Emperor. This is a stepping stone for him. We see the best from him when he gets up to the 2,400 metre plus. 1,600 fresh up, not for me for him.
He wants 3,000 metres.
Okay, and 1,600 metres is far too short for Senor Toba then on the weekend. Who wins it this year, Paul?
Senor Toba. No. No, look, you can see these stayers sprint fresh, can't you? But look, I'm going to go with Beauty Eternal. I think everything points to Beauty Eternal in this race. A good barrier draw. I think they'll be aggressive, get himself just in behind the speed. I'll give Encountered another chance because he comes in with a lightweight and he is also has had that run under his belt, as has Straight Aaron. So those two I want to put in on the weights. And then California Spangle, he's too good to leave out, but look, I'm just a little bit concerned about those trials. 3,971.
Yeah, I'm with 3 as well, Beauty Eternal. It's a race over the last sort of 10 or so editions of it that the favourites have been able to win 5 times, and he trialled really nicely coming into this. So I expect him to win at the weekend. Beauty Eternal. Beauty Joy goes into the mix here, especially with the weight. He's only carrying 122 pounds for Matthew Chadwick and Tony Cruz. He's not won for well over 12 months. Straight Aaron goes in. Sometimes this can be a race where horses that are looking for more ground can come out and run well. Horses like Panfield have won this in the past. Military Attack, Designs on Rome. So I think he sort of is going well enough at the moment to suggest he can run a big race here. And like Paul, worried about that recent trial of California Spangle, and I think he might cop some pressure. So 3, 5, 7 and 1.
That is the preview for the Sha Tin Trophy. So it's the main race that we focused on here on Racing to Win. If you'd like to see the 9 of the races previewed, you can jump on the website, hkjc.com, click on audio and video. They will be all there waiting for you. But let's set that stage of the show now, Paul. We need your best bets.
Going to go pair of 6s here. Race 6, number 6, Snaffles. Very unlucky at his last start. He's drawn really nicely in barrier number 2. I think he'll get the perfect run. And you can see here, look, he couldn't get out. And then once he did get out, the bird had flown with Happy Together coming down the outside. It was just about there that he got that gap. by this stage, the horse on the outside got the momentum. Now you can see him fighting on well on the inside. They squared off together and he missed out on the bob. So I think he can atone and win here. Snaffles. And as far as long shot, I'm going to go with the horse. Only had the 3 starts. Wonderful Unicorn. He went out favourite on debut, this horse, but in his 3rd start, we saw the real Wonderful Unicorn run a really good 5th at the back end of last season, and he's trialled well since. And in the play we're going to do in race 4, Leslie, Pins Prince, who's had a couple of runs, and Chili Barbar. Close your eyes at the start. He's a horse that comes late. 2, 4 and 6.
My best comes up in race number 5, number 9, Smart Fighter. Ricky Yu and Andrea Azzini, who takes the ride here. I think he's trialled really well at Happy Valley, going back to last Saturday morning. Lucky Fun, another Azzini ride. So this runner here for Pierre Ungman, he's down the straight, and look at him here, behind runners at about the 200 metres. He just had no clear racing room. And he was able to find a little bit of clear air late and run on. Now, he has never won over 1,000 metres, but he is drawn up towards the outside rail, and there will be no false rail at the weekend. So we'll look at him there, finishing off strongly at the end. Another one that hasn't won for a wee while, Lucky Fun, and the play with Dream Pursuer, Noble Pursuit and Smart Fighter, race 5.
Have plagiarised the last run reminder. Race 9, number 6, Joyful Hunter. Terrific at Happy Valley last time. Unlucky first up. He can atone here, but it is a strong field. The long shot race 5, number 6, a free foal back from an enforced break and does have a good record course and distance. The play race 9, Taj Dragon, Excellent Fighter and Joyful Hunter in that strong second last 2, 4 and 6. Diary time. Looking ahead to what is upcoming. Back to Happy Valley on Wednesday night for a 6:15 start. 9 races on Longines Cup night and then further Group 2 racing on the 22nd. Trackside live from 12:30. The Premier Bowl features there, but it's the Sha Tin Trophy before all of that, Tom.
Yeah, can't wait, Mark, and should be a great meeting, Paul. Plenty of full fields and a lot of nice horses going around.
I think it looks a tricky card too. I think you'll get, if you find the winner, you'll be well rewarded.
Well, you need to be at Sha Tin on Sunday, as we will be from 1 o'clock.